start from scratch and you're working on a shoestring budget, it was kind of like, well, you can't start a photography business in the middle of a GFC. You've got no money. So I love it when people say I can't do stuff. So here I am. I worked with a mate who was a business coach, and he, some 5 years ago, said, listen, we love your work, but you've really got to find a niche for yourself. So I sat down, and that's when I started to think, okay, what do I want to shoot? So I sort of went through all the genres that I shoot, and at that stage I was shooting anything and everything, and started to really hone in on really what I wanted to shoot, so that obviously it kept on coming up headshots. So he really gave me the impetus to go, okay, from that day forth I've become the headshot guy. Inspiration behind Brad K Photographics started out just with the love of being able to take photographs and certainly make a living doing it. That was the first thing that sort of really drove me. As it morphed into more headshots, my inspiration now, I suppose, is to be able to take somebody that walks into your studio and rolls out all the cliches like, oh, I hope you've got a nice lens, and I hope you've got plenty of Photoshop, and geez, you've got your work cut out for you today, all those types of things, and have that client walk out of my studio 2 hours later thinking I'm a genius because I've made them look spectacular. I love that. I love that transition that people go through when they're being photographed, seeing themselves look really good for the first time ever, possibly in their lives. One of my biggest marketing challenges is that historically, headshot photographers have stood you up against a white wall and told you to smile. But as social media has exploded across the planet, and if you've got a small business these days, there's really no escaping the fact that you've got to be doing Facebook or Instagram or one of those type of social mediums. So all of those social mediums expect you to have some type of a profile image at the top. Still to this day, a lot of people expect that that's really all I'm going to do is stand them up against a white wall. Now, some that do the research and look into what I do and look at my portfolio and those types of things will understand, okay, this guy makes people look different than everybody else. My firm belief is that I can teach anybody how to become photogenic, and that's just a basic understanding of someone's face and how they move and how they look, how they smile, understanding their eyes, their better side. Once you get a handle on somebody and you can step them through the steps, they start to come out of their shell, so to speak, and they sort of start to go, oh, actually, I look pretty cool. So you're not really changing their face, you're not changing their features, you're just teaching them how to look better. It's just finding the right expression for people and being able to then get them to replicate it over and over and over again. So once they can do that without me directing them, then I'm happy, because what happens is they get some awesome photos, but they leave the studio with a skill set that says that when they go to their next networking function, or they go to a wedding, or they go to a party with somebody and someone says, oh, right, we've got to do a photo, they actually know how to do their jawline, their eyes and their mouth, and they can actually start feeling good about having a photograph taken of themselves. For me, it's all about creating a good experience in the studio and taking away that fear that people have about being photographed. Once I decided that I wanted to shoot headshots, I obviously wanted to stand out and be a little bit unique. So I started looking at what the really good headshot photographers are doing in the States and in the UK. They shoot a lot of actors and actresses, and they often shoot in CinemaScape. And I think that style that I use comes from the movies. There's nothing anywhere I could find that says that corporates can't look good in their headshot photos. So I started shooting like that, and obviously, yeah, I'd get a bit of stick. There are people that don't like the style, and that's okay, that's fine. Most people do. The influence from those guys and having a look at what they're doing and what they're teaching their clients has enabled me to sort of go, all right, well, that would work for me. I love my headshots and I'm going to keep doing that. I'm giving thought to an expansion process. I'm actively looking for like-minded headshot photographers in other major cities throughout Australia, because I think this is a message that a lot of photographers probably need to start thinking more about this stuff. I know in the industry that a lot of photographers are complaining that, people are using iPhones and those types of things. So we've got to take our knowledge to the next level. So we've got to sit up above what somebody can do with an iPhone. So if you've got to say, well, okay, I've got to produce imagery that's that much better than what someone can produce with an iPhone, or if they do stand you up against a wall. So for me, that's always been a challenge. So I think getting to the point where you become a bit of an authority in the industry and other photographers come to you and go, how do you make people look like that?